To wrap up today, I want to share a statement. I want to share a statement from the American Association of People with Disabilities. In my opinion, I can tell you my expertise, but there are people who actually know this, who have been doing this work for years, who have been looking at the research, doing the cultural conversations, watching them change, and have been involved in these processes. So I went to look immediately for the organizations that I trusted, that I have seen before stand up and do the right thing. And quite a few of them signed on to this statement by the American Association of People with Disabilities. And I think it's a strong statement, and while it might not be my perspective, it's a perspective I really want to add to our rally and make sure we hear. On Monday, September 22nd, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced the department's actions to address what he called the epidemic of autism. The theories that Secretary Kennedy presented to the public demonstrate his continued disrespect for autistic people and follow a now familiar pattern of citing debunked claims, demeaning people with disabilities, and spreading misinformation about vaccines and autism. The White House also held a press conference Monday where they raised unfounded concerns about acetaminophen as a potential cause of autism. Acetaminophen is commonly sold under the brand name Tylenol. The president went as far as to explicitly tell pregnant people to, quote, "don't take Tylenol." Repeated incorrect information about the history of prevalence of autism, and called for several changes to the childhood vaccine schedule and to the ingredients of the vaccines. If you are curious, if this doesn't line up with exactly what you remember, he actually said a lot of stuff that the FCC isn't putting out, and said basically, oh, these are only my opinions, which in my opinion does not make it any more okay as he still is the President of the United States. Apologies. Returning to the statement. These unfounded and unscientific claims about Tylenol causes autism, endanger the lives of pregnant people, and go against the advice of the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. Acetaminophen is widely considered the safest option for pregnant people when it comes to over-the-counter medication that is needed to treat pain or fevers, and it is certainly better than letting a fever go untreated. Autism existed long before Tylenol was sold. Similarly, the administration's claims about autism and vaccines are dangerous to children, immunocompromised people, and to our nation's public health more broadly. 3 decades of scientific research have repeatedly shown that vaccines and their ingredients do not cause autism. Claims that autism is quote-unquote preventable by taking or not taking certain medications are not supported by scientific consensus and serve only to perpetuate stigma against autistic people. HHS leadership also announced the approval of the drug leucovorin. I just realized I never looked up how to say that. To treat autism. Limited evidence exists studying the effects of leucovorin on autistic people. The studies that do exist have small sample sizes and are not a substitute for large, robust clinical trials. I will say for my part, having looked into it, this is exactly what I found as well. Many scientific consensus is, looks promising, but we don't have concrete evidence yet. Approval of this drug as a treatment at this time exposes autistic people to a range of unknown risks. Autism is complex and multifactorial, presenting differently from person to person. Autistic people need self-directed supports and services tailored to them based on their functional needs, not a one-size-fits-all solution. Autistic people deserve respect and support. There are many policy and program changes HHS could pursue that would materially improve the lives of autistic people and their families. avenues to provide suggestions have been limited. The only federal body specifically designed to include engagement from the autism community, the Interagency Autism Coordination Committee, IACC, has not convened since the start of the Trump administration. The IACC is required to meet by the Autism Cares Act, which was reauthorized last year. This press conference and the administration's actions come on the heels of Secretary Kennedy's testimony before the Senate Finance Committee, during which he made more false claims about vaccines. The targeting of autism is part of a broader initiative led by Secretary Kennedy to undermine public trust in science and to advance harmful, ableist beliefs that make all of us less safe. We call on policymakers to collaborate with autistic individuals, families, researchers, clinicians, and disability organizations to ensure that policy is grounded in science and responsive to community needs. We urge public leaders, institutions, and media to uphold scientific integrity, disseminate accurate public health information, and work to strengthen, not weaken, the infrastructure of support for the entire autism community. It is what autistic people and their families deserve. Signed by the Association of University Centers on Disability, the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, the Autistic Woman and Non-Binary Network, the National Association of Councils on Developmental Disabilities, the ARC of the United States, the American Association of People with Disabilities, the Autistic People of Color Fund, and the Autism Society.